Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this Spellbinders card making project. In this project, the items that we're going to be using is the Circles and Diamonds embossing folder from Spellbinders. Now I don't know whether you knew that Spellbinders made embossing folders, but I think these are really cool. They've got some fantastic different textured folders, and this one is a circle and a diamond, and it's just a good way of using something a little bit different to utilise the cardstock that you've got. So I picked that one because I just thought it would look so good with different projects. The next thing we're going to be using a die and a stamp set called Beautiful Dreamer. Now when you get yours, you get them in the Spellbinders packs. For basically making the projects and getting everything sorted out, just for easiness, I've already taken mine out of the packet. And what I do is I put the dies on a magnetic sheet on the back of something that I've laminated so that I can add the stamps as well when it's a dual pack, so that I can keep everything together and I don't sort of have stamps in one area and dies in another. So you will get yours in a normal Spellbinders pack. This is just how I've changed mine. So Beautiful Dreamer is a set of 2 dies with matching sentiments that will fit in the dies, and we're going to be using those. And then this is one of my new favourites. It doesn't look a great deal from how I've got it set out. It's called Floral Divine, and it's a set of dies and stamps, and it's just so pretty. And as we go along, I'll show you just how pretty this is. I'm sure this will feature in a few of our projects in the coming months because it's just really fun to use and easy, especially if you like the system of stamping and die cutting. Dramatic effects, and it's just really cool. So those are the Spellbinders items that we're going to be using, and I'm going to start off with my base card. Now this is a scalloped card, and it is roughly in size, I'm going to say 5.5 inches. There we go, yep, just about 5.5 inches. So on our cardometer for the square cards, it sits just nicely to give you perspective at home, just smaller than the 6x6 and bigger than the 5x5 with the scallops. So it's a pretty card and it's ivory. And as always, I'm just going to run my bone folder along the edge to make sure we've got a nice sharp score. Now we're going to do the inside first, and the inside for this card I think is one of the prettiest inserts that we've done for a long time. And I know we make a lot of pretty ones, but this is just a little bit different. So what I've done, I've taken a piece of ivory cardstock and I've stamped in the middle one of the Beautiful Dreamer stamps, and it says, "Walk with the dreamers, the believers and the courageous, the cheerful, let the spirit ignite a fire within you." And I just think that is so inspirational. So I've stamped that, and then I've die cut using 2 of the dies from the Floral Divine. One is a kind of sweeping leaf, and one is, it's like a berry. I want to say mistletoe in this country, but it's like a berry strand. And I've used the dies to cut out the apertures, and then I've got tape on the back of our insert. So I'm just going to pop this into our card. Now you'll notice where I've cut the 2 apertures, I've let tape go across the back of the aperture so that you can actually see some of the tape. There is a reason for this. I haven't lost the plot, but there's a good reason. So I'm just going to pop the insert in. Now I've also edged the piece of card with a deep green ink pad all the way around the edge. So I'm just going to zoom in actually because I really want you to see this. There we go, that's better. So the two items that I've die cut were like a sweeping leaf branch and then something that resembles berries on a branch. So I've stamped those and I've die cut them, and I'm just going to simply pop them back in the aperture where they came from, both of them. And now as I'm putting them in, I'm lifting the end bit a little bit just so that it's not quite flat in the aperture, so you can see that. Now I know this is the inside and you're thinking, but I need the card to close, Anne-Marie. Don't worry, it will, and it won't be too bulky. So we've put those two pieces back in. Now I've also stamped and die cut, and I've used my Xyron for the adhesive. I've stamped and die cut 2 sets of leaves and one of the roses. I've taken it through the Xyron, I've gone round the edges, so I'm just peeling the top of my adhesive away like that, and then I can put one of the leaves at one side like that, and one of the leaves at the other side like that, and then I can put our flower in the centre like that. Now if for any reason when you've used your Xyron, I just want to give you a little tip here, you've got any bits of adhesive left on your project or whatever you're working on, if you take the top piece again and just tap over just carefully, it will lift off some. I've already scrumpled this up, you see, so it's not going to work so well. It will lift off the excess that you've got. Go steady with it because you don't want to ruin whatever you've made, but it does lift off the excess. So that is our insert. Now it's not too heavy. You've got your little bits that are just sticking up slightly, so when you close your card they will flatten down, but when you open it they will kind of not spring up because there isn't a spring there, but they will go back to your curled position because there's no adhesive on the back of that little section, only at the front. So you'll be able to close it and then open it, and there. And hopefully it'll be like that when the recipient gets it. So we'll just zoom out a little bit for the front. Now for the front, what I've done is I've cut out a piece of nice bright green cardstock, and you may be thinking, oh, that's not my colourway. Well, don't panic, because we're going to cover it, but we're only going to see a tip of it. And then this is the embossed circle and diamond card, so I've embossed it on ivory, and then we're going to pop that over the top of the bright green. You could use any colour, it doesn't have to be bright green, but I just thought this worked quite well with what we're doing. So next, what I've done is I've die cut the beautiful Dreamer die in ivory, and then I've stamped the sentiment Dream Every Chance You Get, which will work well with the sentiment on the inside. I've got 3D foam on the back of it, and I've just very lightly inked the edge of the die cut in a green ink that kind of tones in with our leaves and our green from our base. And I'm going to just add that through the centre of our card, like that. Next, what I've done is I'm just going to put this to one side for a minute. Next, what I've done is I've stamped and die cut all the flowers and the leaves from the set, from the Floral Divine set. And what happens is you stamp everything out, and I've stamped it in black just to show up here so you can see. I've stamped the leaves, I've stamped a couple of the flowers, and then you take the die that matches to the item that you're using and that you've stamped, and then you simply position the die around the flower, and you use a little bit of craft tape, the masking tape, to hold the die in place, and then you pop it through the machine. Now, some of the actual items I've already watercoloured because I found it easier to colour them before I cut them out while they were still on the sheet. But you don't have to, it's completely up to you. But that's how I got the actual effect. Stamp them all out and then die cut them. And here we are. So we've got leaves, we've got the berries, we've got the flowers, and now it's just the case of building up the card front and adding the items that we've got. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm simply going to build up with the leaves first, only because these are the biggest items that we've got, the biggest die cut items. And pop one down there, and then I can go with the sweeping leaves and just build it up as if I'm building a picture. And the berries we can add like that. You don't have to use them all, you could use just a few. And then I've got some of the larger flowers that I can add. Oops. And the small flowers. And add another one there. And one at the top. And it's just about having fun with them and building up the image. There we go. And I've got that one upside down as well, so we'll just put that the right way around. And I've got a couple more of the smaller flowers, so we'll have another one there and another one. Where should we put this one? Here at the side there. And I think that is just about finished. And it just looks so pretty, very modern, but it's still got that vintage feel from the beautiful Dreamer die and the embossing. I've used muted tones to colour in the flowers and just simple watercolour pencils to give them the different tones and the look of a little bit of shadow, etc. But it's such a pretty card and easy to make, and you'll have fun with that one because that set, the Floral Divine, is just so gorgeous to work with. I do hope this has given you some kind of idea just of how to use different products from your stash to mix things up and just to have a go. That's what it's all about. Have fun and just, you can do it. Please have a look on my blog for other projects because there's so many different other projects and I'm sure there'll be something there that you like. Feel free to comment on my blog. You can always find me on Facebook, and I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I shall see you next time.